Hi, I thought I would show you how I put alcohol ink on foil paper and then stamp on it and remove some of the ink to make these really pretty butterflies. I found this by accident, but it's really cool. And on this one I stamped the butterfly and cut it out, and then this is the foil paper in the background, and this was an embossing folder that I just trimmed out around. This was the Cuttlebug Florist frame, and then added some jewels. Let me show you real quick how I did it. I've done a lot of cards like this. I'll try to put some up there, but it's really fun, I think, and fairly easy. First of all, I have nerve damage after a hip replacement, long story, but I use Lidoderm patches some of the time to try to take care of some of the more surface nerves. And in the packaging, if you tear it open, it's lined with foil type material on the inside. And the patch comes with a plastic cover on it so that the medicine never actually touches this package. This package keeps it dry. So I reuse the packages. I cut them up and use the foil side. I also have found some wrapping paper that has a shiny foil side on one side and a craft on the other, and it works just as well. And if you're interested, let me know. I can offer some of this paper, like an 8.5 by 11 sheets, like several sheets for $1 or something on my Etsy site. Just leave a comment. And I'm going to be using Adirondack alcohol inks in Stream, Wild Plum, and Purple Twilight. And I love this combination, and I tend to use it too much, but I just love it. Stream is my absolute favorite alcohol ink color. I have the applicator tool and a piece of felt that I velcroed on there, and I'm going to put a couple of dots, or hold it a few seconds, of the Stream Purple Twilight and Wild Plum. Wild Plum will stand out more, so sometimes I'll put more of the other two colors and a little less of the Wild Plum. Just depends on what you're going for. And then I'm going to put a dot of the alcohol blending solution. And we're using alcohol inks because most inks won't stay on the foil paper. You can stamp on it with Stays On, and maybe Archival. I haven't tried that yet. But to get a lot of color on there, I'm going to use the alcohol inks, and you just pounce around. And at first it may not look like much, but it will when we're through, I promise. And I turn the tool every now and then. The alcohol ink blending solution kind of blends the colors some, and it gives you the cool little, I don't know what you call that, those little pockets where it's less color. How's that? And then when you feel like it, put a little more ink on. And maybe a little more blending solution. Don't know why I put the lid back on this. I should know better. And see how when you first punch with it, it's darker and then it dries lighter. Then you can go back over it and give a cool effect. And you can probably never really get the same exact effect every time, but that's what's cool about it, is that you just play around with it until you like it. And if you play around with it and don't like it, you can just take all the color off with your blending solution. But usually, if I don't like the first layer, I'll add more and more layers on, so it just makes it look cooler. And I just blend around, or stomp around with this. Don't know the technical term for it. Until I get a good effect. For this technique I'm going to show you in removing the ink, you need to have a darker colors on your metal sheet because lighter colors don't show the contrast as well. So that's one reason I like to go with these colors. And then, after you get your alcohol ink on there, take a stamp. Let me see where I've put mine. The red rubber stamps work better for this, but you can also use the clear acrylic stamps. And if you have a solvent ink, something that's made, the solvent in the alcohol inks has made it stay on your non-porous surface, but pigment ink will take it away. And most solvent-based inks will take it away because solvent usually takes away solvent. I don't know if I explained that enough. Anything that's alcohol-based you'll be able to stamp with it and then wipe it off with a baby wipe, and it will reveal the silver underneath. And just stamp down. This was a clear acrylic stamp, but it works pretty well. I'm not sure if you can see that really well. I just grabbed my blue. You can use any color, it doesn't matter because you're going to be taking it off anyway. And just for this one, I just grabbed what was on top. I do have some other pigment ink pads that are drying up that I haven't refilled yet that they'll work on this, but it doesn't work quite as well. So it's good to have a juicy ink pad. And I just inked this butterfly up. This is a Anna Griffin stamp that I got years ago. And I get a really good impression with this. And you have to be careful because you're stamping onto foil that it doesn't slip. But it's not a big deal. That's a mask. Whoops. That's really the picture on the stamp. I stamped on top of adhesive backed paper cardstock that you can get at the craft store and cut it out and then take some of the tackiness of it off by pressing it on my clothes and taking it off, and then I use that as a mask and I just keep it on top of my stamp. And I'm just going to get this off pretty well. And now you come to the wonderful crafting item that everyone should always have in their craft room. That's a baby wipe. And I'm just going to take the ink off. Just like that. Isn't that cool? And you get a really neat effect with it. So cool. And then I'll put some more pictures on the screen of cards that I've made where I've used these. I usually cut the butterflies out. Here's some I've already cut out. And I put them on other cards. I'll put some pictures up that you can see. And then on the little strips that are around where I cut out the butterflies, I take these little foil pieces, and they're too good just to get rid of. So I get my old butterfly punches out and put that in there and punch out some smaller butterflies. Let's see if I can, like that. And then I'll put those on the cards as well and on envelopes. And that's not the only thing I do. Besides stamping, I also emboss the paper, and then you can rub your pigment ink direct to your embossing and take the ink off, and it gives you a cool effect. I've already done one side of this, and I've inked this side and let it dry. I'm going to take that off. Sometimes, if you let it dry too long, it doesn't want to take all the ink off. But let me show you, like on this side right here. See where there's a little bit of ink still right there? You can go in with an old dry erase marker, and I say old because I don't know if this actually hurts your marker. And just go over that area, kind of like if you have a dry erase board and get markers stuck on it that it's hard to get off. You can go over it with the marker and it removes it. It's whatever that solvent is, it's removing the other stuff that was there. And then go back over it and it takes most of that ink away. You can also, I'll show you on this one, draw with this, but it doesn't take all the ink away, it just takes some of it. Or you could write love or anything and then take some of it away, but your edges aren't real clear and it doesn't work as well as stamping. You can see that was a little heart that didn't come out very clearly, and then you can see the word, and I'd go back over that L again, but it takes it off a little bit. Your edges aren't as clear though. But it does help you fix mistakes on embossed areas. And so I will put these butterflies on and make a card like this. And I'll put some other pictures up of cards that I've done. But it's really fun, and I think it's easy. It doesn't take a whole lot. You just have to be careful stamping on it because it's slick and your stamp wants to slide. And you want to be careful not to get ink. Like if I got a little too much ink on right there and it started to take a little bit of that alcohol ink off. I've got a little too much of my pigment ink. I got it on that area a little too much, and you can see where that started to come off, but you could always go over that with more alcohol ink, or it's not that noticeable. I'd probably just put some butterflies over there and no one will know. So, however you like, but I think it is a really cool effect. So, thanks for watching. Bye.